And we're live. Okay, so how many people watched the Matthew? Hi, Casey Jones. Listen, I have to talk to you. Listen, Jimmy sent your stuff out, but he forgot your shell. So your shell's coming separately to you, okay? Yeah. He messed up a few shipping things. So yours was one of them. But so you're going to get yours. You might have already got your salt and pepper shakers, but your shell wasn't in there. I'm going to have to send your shell out separately, okay? Didn't forget. And, okay. So, hi, Julie W. Hi, Janae Ann, Kevin, Jeanette, Larky. Let me put in. So, who was watching today? Who was watching? If you watched today, you saw that the woman that he has a child with and his ex-girlfriend, Michelle Rogers, testified. And it was horrific to what she testified to. Hi, Farm Wife. The attack, I mean, it actually made me nauseous. Like, I was, like, sick listening to it. And hi, Flo on the Go. The Captain Lee fan. I couldn't listen to, I mean, I listened to it, but it was really, really difficult to listen to. I don't know how she lived through that. I don't know how. He beat her up, beat her bloody, broke her nose. He stabbed her in the shoulder, in the neck. She ended up, he would bash her head against the floor, against the concrete. They were going like from the house, outside the house. She escaped through the garage. He went after her again. And the most crazy thing was, the impact statements. They're still going on. That's a lot. That is a lot. In one day to hear all of that. Some of that, so I had to stop for a little bit because it's so much. But anyway, hey Casey, thank you for being a detective Rambo for 12 months. So anyway, the defense attorney gets up, the woman, and she was like just so typical of how you attack the victim, going, when you left the bar that night, you were ticked off. No, I was upset. Like she argued over every point. Yes, they were both been drinking. Yes, the girl was 1.5 times over the legal limit, but still she was very injured. I don't know. She acted like, it doesn't have anything. And then when they got her off the stand, and after that, they went into their closing arguments. And the defense, the prosecution said, what you've heard, find him guilty. He did this, okay. But the defense gets up there and they say, oh no, you can't look at that woman they put on the stand. Hey, thank you so much, Casey Jones. I really appreciate that. That's wonderful. Thank you. You can't listen to this. This is just, she just brought this in. That woman only wanted money. It's funny how she doesn't remember the only thing that started the fight. She remembers everything else, but she can't remember what the fight started about. And you heard it out of her own mouth. She was ticked off, so it's really quite crazy. Anyway, so they end up saying, of course, you're going to find him not guilty. Well, the jury went out and found him guilty of first-degree murder, not even of, manslaughter, but of the premeditated murder. And now they're moving to phase 2, which the jury will decide whether it's life or the death penalty, right? But that was, I think it was a no-brainer to everybody he was going to be found guilty. I don't know anybody that was really saying, even in the polls they did there, it was like 98% said guilty, 96% or something like that. Oh, thank you, Casey. I appreciate that. We've missed you. So so we got that. And then let's see what else we've got. Oh gosh. So then we have the other one, the Darrell. That's hard. I mean, you're hearing all these people. The one man that came up, and his wife had just had surgery, and the Darrell in the don't tell me. Waukesha, Christmas parade tragedy. Darrell Rogers. And so what happened there, all the impact statements came out. And like Captain Lee was saying, sometimes you have to take a break on this stuff. Well, I don't know if she said you have to take a break. She said she was crying her eyes out. It is a lot. And so I heard, a number of stories from the guy whose wife just had surgery, and he went with a Catholic group there, and he had to quit his part-time job that he loved because of his injuries, and he has so much pain. To the mother who lost the son, then she found him. He was on the other side. To people, who've lost their loved ones. It was very, very, the children. Yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult, and it was still going on. The judge said in the beginning she was going not to make a decision today. She wanted to digest it all, take it home, and then come back tomorrow. So, I mean, it was difficult. But then some people were seeing the hearing from the Michael Vaughn case. Now, I want to go on to that a little bit, because they were playing that hearing from yesterday, but I also want to check in on because it's just so much to follow, the digging and what's going on in that case. So this is going to be like a case wrap-up. So case wrap-up and maybe some headlines, and maybe we'll make it a nightly thing. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what will work best, especially while we're doing the Scott Peterson thing at night. So let me see here. Okay, so Jennifer Koffendorfer, the retired FBI, or former FBI, I don't know if she's retired, said law enforcement remains convinced that Michael Vaughn's remains are buried at that residence. Keep in mind the facts the public is privy to doesn't compare to what law enforcement knows. Correct. And then an hour ago she said most in the community remember when the FBI excavated the yard of Harmony's former residence. After receiving information, she was there. They did not find her. Bodies can be moved. I have no doubt law enforcement will do everything in their power to determine if Michael Vaughn is or was there. Okay. Now, let's see. Chief Huff believes they could be at Sarah Wondra's house processing the yard and inside the home for another week. He can't confirm if they found anything, but says they're trying to be careful to preserve any evidence. And then again, as we know with Lori Vallow, Idaho law doesn't support insanity as a defense, right? They sent Lori Vallow away to be made competent again, right? If a mental health condition exists, a judge can consider at sentencing. We know that Sarah is aware of her surroundings because of how she responded yesterday. I understand what they're saying, but that's not correct. So this is just, let me see. What is this that they've shared here? KTV. So I want to just make sure that this information is let me just go to that channel, KTVB. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Police are still in a backyard in Fruitland on Tuesday. They were there all day looking for the possible remains of Michael Vaughn. And the chief, J.D. Huff, from the Fruitland Police said that they could be there on the scene for another week processing everything. Investigators have been out on the home off of Red Wing Street in Fruitland since late Friday night, excavating the backyard where 35-year-old Sarah Wondra lives with her partner, Stacy Wondra. Sarah was arrested over the weekend in connection to Michael Vaughn's possible death. She was charged with failure to report a death. She was in court yesterday, and she has a $500,000 bond. She said that the charges against her were false, right? We saw that. In her arraignment on Monday, she said, "I understand what the police have said. It's not correct." She was assigned a public defender. And the police chief said Tuesday that Wondra has not been cooperative. And he said that investigators believe she's not the only person who knows something about what happened to little Michael Vaughn. Huff said the yard is still being processed. Investigators are in the fine-tuning aspect of the property search. He said that they want to be methodical and careful to preserve any and all evidence, and probably will be at the scene until 3 or 4 p.m., and investigators will be searching inside the house. Investigators say they're still receiving tips. Good leads are coming in. And people who believe they have information are urged to keep reaching out. We want to resolve this and hold those people accountable who committed this crime. He later said that it's not just one statement police were given that corroborated probable cause. No forensic team is on the site yet, the police chief said. In the months since Michael disappeared, Fruitland police and other investigators have been looking for information about a Honda Pilot vehicle. And it was seen in Michael's neighborhood the evening that he was reported missing. Tuesday, he said there is no connection between that vehicle and the house where the excavation is taking place. Huff also said investigators believe they have identified a man who was walking near a splash pad at Crestview Park leading up to the time of the boy's disappearance. During a previous update in June, the chief said that man was not considered a suspect. The street to the Vaughn home is currently blocked off to prevent media presence as well as to prevent people from speaking with the family. We don't need people down the road messing with the victims. Yeah, and the mother was distraught, hearing what was released yesterday before anything. It was just horrible. It took away their hope, she said. They could have had it, for a little bit longer. Very heart-wrenching. Okay, so got that now. Let's see what else is going on with the other. We talked about last night, the 4 people that were killed. They were killed by the Idaho students. I had thought that it was one person that was killed at first, and then there were these 4. They didn't make it sound like it was college students until later on, and then that's what I saw. But now, last night we heard about it, but now they're saying a little more information that Idaho police revealed today that a knife or an edged weapon was possibly used to kill 4 Iowa college students who were found dead on Sunday. According to the Moscow police, no weapon had been located in the deaths of Ethan Chapin, 20, Madison Mogen, 21, Zana Kernoodle, 20, and Kaylee Goncalves, 21. Autopsies are expected to be completed this week, and they may provide investigators with more information about how the 4 victims died. The 4 were found deceased at a home that was located near the University of Idaho campus. The Moscow police said in their statement that they believe the incident is an isolated and a targeted attack and no arrests have been made. Oh, and then, oh my goodness, did you hear what Casey Anthony is supposed to be saying about in this Peacock thing? Who she's blaming? It's crazy. She's going to speak out in that documentary about her daughter's death, and she allegedly places the blame on her father, George Anthony, for her daughter's death back in 2008. So this documentary is going to premiere on the Peacock Network on November 29th. And Casey Anthony, who's now 36 years old, is going to address the public's perception of her role in her daughter's death. It's also going to bring forth behind-the-scenes footage from Casey Anthony's personal archives and evidence from the defense team that secured her acquittal. Anthony was once considered one of the most hated women in America. The nickname came after the masses blamed Casey Anthony for her daughter Kaylee's death. For weeks in 2008, Casey Anthony lied to the police. She claimed she left the little girl with a nanny, Zanny the nanny, right? And we all know this. Anybody that's followed the case, I shouldn't say we all know it because we don't. Some people, believe it or not, probably maybe not even familiar with this case. I know it's hard to believe, but it happens. It took Casey Anthony 31 days to report her daughter missing, despite the insistence from her parents, who were very close to the little girl. She stalled her parents by claiming she was too busy at work. Remember, she told them she worked at Universal and she never worked there. That was all work of fiction. Now she says that her father staged the little girl's drowning in an attempt to cover up the abuse that he had inflicted on the 3-year-old. So during the trial, if you watch this, they claim that George, the father, had essayed Casey. And now they're saying that he did something to the 3-year-old and then staged a drowning to cover up the harm that he inflicted on her. And she's going to reportedly elaborate on claims that both her brother and her father essayed her, Casey, while growing up. It's an accusation both Lee and George have vehemently denied and have never faced charges for. So I wasn't feeling that great, and I wanted to lay down, Casey Anthony said, recalling the day Kaylee was last seen. I had her lay in the bed with me, and this is quotes from, I guess, the documentary here. I was awoken by my father shaking me and asking me where Kaylee was. That didn't make sense. She would never, ever leave my room without telling me. I immediately started looking around the house. I go outside, and I'm looking to see where she could be. He was standing there with her. She was soaking wet. He handed her to me, said it was my fault, that I caused it. But he didn't rush to call 911, and he wasn't trying to resuscitate her. I collapsed with her in my arms. She was heavy and she was cold. He takes her from me, and he immediately softens his tone and says, "It's going to be okay." I wanted to believe him. He took her from me, and he went away. Kaylee's remains were eventually found on December 11th of 2008, and they were buried near the Orlando home of Casey Anthony's parents. A jury acquitted Casey Anthony of murder back in 2011. So, yeah, this sounds like it's going to be about as truthful as her entire testimony. So, that's crazy. And let's see. Okay, so here's a little more about Michael Vaughn. Let's see what's coming out now. Something about TikTok. I'm telling you, this TikTok is like the worst that's happened to true crime. So Sarah Wondra was arrested on Monday for not reporting the presumed death of the 5-year-old little Idaho boy, Michael Vaughn, who vanished in July of 2021. She allegedly filmed herself in front of his missing posters for various videos she posted to TikTok. Sarah, 35, was arrested as the police and Fruitland searched her backyard. That started Friday night. That's when they started to go to that house. And now they're saying that she posted multiple videos in which she talks while standing in front of missing posters on her refrigerator. In one of the videos, she allegedly talks about being in prison. So here's her refrigerator, and there she is. She is charged with failure to notify authorities of a death, and she reportedly has no connection to the Vaughn family. At the time he vanished, Vaughn was believed to have walked out of his house and down the street. His mother, Brandy Neal, thinks he was trying to find other children to play with. The probable cause affidavit in the case has been sealed so as not to compromise the ongoing investigation. However, police say that additional arrests could follow. And Sarah Wondra there, remains jailed on a $500,000 bond. And she's been ordered to undergo a competency evaluation. She did say during her hearing on Monday that I know what they've said, it's not correct. Okay. Okay, we've got... So, Richard Allen has got his public defender now after, sending that letter last week, pleading for the public defender. He's been appointed new attorneys to represent him on the murder and related charges, and he will be represented by Bradley Rozzi of the Hillis, Rozzi, and Dean law firm. Andrew Joseph Baldwin, and with Baldwin, Perry, and Commish PC will serve as co-counsel. That announcement came after Richard Allen submitted a letter to the court complaining about the cost of obtaining a lawyer. In a handwritten letter to the Carroll Circuit Court, the 50-year-old Allen wrote that he was begging for legal assistance and a public defender or whatever help is available. Indiana law enforcement announced earlier this month that about his arrest. He's been charged with the murders in connection with the 2007 murders of Abby Williams, 14, and Libby German, 13. Police found the girls' bodies on Valentine's Day of 2017 near the abandoned Monon High Bridge in Delphi, Indiana. After the girls went out on an outing the day prior and never returned. Meanwhile, detectives continue to ask anyone who may have additional information to email Abby and Libby tip at cacoshrf.com or call 765-822-3535. Investigation is still ongoing, and they're keeping the tip line open, not only about Richard Allen, but any other person, said the Carroll County prosecutor Nick McFleeland. We cannot talk about the evidence in the probable cause or the charging information today's about Abby and Libby and focusing on them. That's what it said back then. Let's see now. Remember that teen that was found out it's snowing here and it's cold. It's ridiculous. I know it's November, but it's still ridiculous. So we have this California girl. She vanished. She was at her aunt's house on a sleepover. She was found dead she vanished last Thursday. She was found dead the following day. Allegedly did drugs before she abruptly left her home and went outside in freezing temperatures without shoes. Hold on one second. So Ashley Bajorkland, 34, told the New York Post that her niece, that's the aunt that they were staying with, Trinity Backus, 16, started acting strangely after taking acid with a friend who was also spending the night with her at the Nevada home. Backus was found deceased in a wooded half-mile from her aunt's home, where she reportedly left only wearing pajamas and socks, no shoes. And the aunt claimed that she heard Backus yelling from outside. She vanished after the aunt asked Backus, his boyfriend, to get her to come inside. He came back in the house, I don't know, 3 minutes or so, she said, and said, "Ashley, I cannot find her," she recalled to the New York Post. Borkland, the aunt, said that she and Bacchus's boyfriend searched the property for about 15 minutes before they called her mother. She went on to tell the New York Post that she did not realize that Bacchus had done drugs until the teenager's friend revealed it during police questioning. Hannah told us that they had taken 2 hits each of acid, she said. The aunt is skeptical about whether the acid caused her niece's erratic behavior, as she claimed the friend said she and Bacchus used a bong after she went to sleep. According to the aunt, Bacchus was not a regular drug user. We don't even know if what she actually took was acid. There's so much crap out there on the streets these days. The aunt revealed that the niece took off all of her clothes before dying. The phenomenon, called paradoxical undressing, has been documented in research regarding hypothermia. She said that Trinity wasn't a druggie. Trinity was a child who decided to be an idiot and experiment and not freaking talk to us about it. Her cause of death has not yet been disclosed. Police do not believe any foul play was a factor in her death. Very sad. Okay, now. What else do we have here? Okay, there's something now about Uvalde again. Coming in. So a newly released audio of a phone call suggests that the acting Uvalde chief was informed that there were children in the classroom with the gunman who ended up killing 19 children and 2 adults that day at Robb Elementary School. Let's see. Mariano Pargas had called Uvalde police dispatchers and learned that there were 8 to 9 children alive and needing rescue from the suspect, Salvador Ramos, 18. Pargas reportedly contacted the dispatchers after they relayed a 911 call from Chloe Torres, 10, who had explained she was in a room full of victims. Pargas reportedly contacted dispatchers about 6 minutes after Torres' call, and 4 minutes after the information she provided was relayed on the police radio. Pargas talked to the dispatchers as Torres was still on the line with them. So, let's see, New Uvalde. They failed to take action. 8 to 9 are still alive. She's not too sure. She's not too sure how many maybe are actually DOA or possibly injured. We're trying, the dispatcher is heard telling them. Surveillance and body camera footage showed Pargas telling a border control agent about the injured victims in the minutes following the call. However, he allegedly did not disclose that to a Texas Ranger he spoke to a minute later. Though a dispatcher told Pargas that Torres and the other children were in room 112, it took Pargas more than 30 minutes to approach the classroom door where police had gathered. Texas Department of Public Safety Director Colonel Stephen McCraw called the response to the May 24 shooting an abject failure and blamed Pete Arredondo, chief of the Uvalde School District Police. Arredondo was fired in August. McCraw said Arredondo failed to promptly confront Ramos despite being the on-scene commander. McCraw and Arredondo had said what he needed to breach the class. Said Arredondo had what he needed to breach the classroom door where the gunman was within 3 minutes, but instead he stayed on the other side of the hallway for 77 minutes. The video footage obtained suggests that officers stood by after the initial gunfire, even as the gunman fired 4 additional rounds. Officers remained inactive, even asking for keys to a presumably unlocked classroom, and gathering tear gas, gas masks, and a sledgehammer. An officer is heard saying that they are making entry at one point, but it doesn't happen. Various agencies responded to the scene, including the Texas Rangers, the U.S. Border Control, the U.S. Marshals Service. Despite this, it was an hour and 14 minutes before anyone entered the classroom and fatally shot Ramos. By then, 21 people died in that classroom. Arredondo took the media that told the media that he did not bring his 2 radios. Oh, yeah, remember that one? As he believed they would weigh him down. He also claimed that he spent an hour trying to unlock a classroom door that separated him from the gunman. Okay. Officials now believe that Ramos had barricaded himself in an unlocked classroom and students waited more than an hour to be rescued. Security footage repeatedly showed that the police never tried to open the classroom door, which would contradict Arendano's claims that he spent an hour in the hallway trying to locate a key that would open the door. Comprehensive report regarding the shooting is expected to be released and a criminal probe at the end of the year. Hang on one second. Sorry, guys. That was my daughter. I had to talk to her for a second. Okay. Now, let's go back here. So, yeah, that's crazy, right? Now, what did I just do? Oh, my goodness. What's that? Oh. Okay, where did my, hold on a minute. I just lost my whole... There we go. Okay. So let's see. So now we have some more sad news to report about bullies. And this is in Georgia. This Georgia teenager is dead after his mother says it happened shortly after he told her about reported bullies at the Heard County School in Heard County. He's 15 years old, was a freshman, Austin McIntyre, and he told his mother Lisa on November 4th that he was sick and wanted to stay home from school. When she pushed him to take a COVID test, he reportedly admitted that he wasn't sick, but instead didn't want to face the bullies at school. I specifically said, "Will you please be honest with me?" And he said, "I'm being bullied at school." I said, "Okay, what exactly have they been doing?" Well, Wednesday, they did what's called pantsied me. Well, this particular time, they pantsied him with his shorts and underwear. Linda contacted the principal at the school, who reportedly assured her that the incident would be looked into and handled. She added that her son wouldn't go into a lot of detail about the bullying, but that she thought the issue would be handled. On Saturday, after Austin returned from work, Lisa said she had a good chat with her son, who told her he didn't feel like he had many friends, but assured her he wasn't contemplating self-harm. The pair then had a pleasant Saturday night, and Lisa went to bed. Following day, Lisa had 2 calls from the Heard County Sheriff's Office that she missed while she was at work. She returned home to find deputies surrounding her home. I said, "He's gone, isn't he?" And a deputy shook his head. "Yes, I just completely lost it." According to the Heard County Sheriff's Office, Austin passed away from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. We are investigating a self-inflicted gunshot wound from a student at Heard County High School. We're looking into the reasons behind the incident, said the Heard County Sheriff's Office. Now, Lisa is hoping to help others who may be going through what her son endured. We want to honor him and make a statement that the bullying can't continue, she said. I want kids to be kind and compassionate and inclusive of everybody. They don't need to isolate kids and make them feel that they're not worth something. People are wanting and willing to listen and help. Don't ever feel like you're ever carrying the whole world on your shoulders. You're not. For assistance and to speak with someone about self-harm, you can text or call 988 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, And you can also find several state of Georgia resources. Meanwhile, a GoFundMe fundraiser has been created to help the family with funeral and memorial expenses. Check back for updates. Yeah, there should never be a 15-year-old that takes his life for this stuff. This is just horrendous. Horrendous. The wife of a California governor, Gavin Newsom, testified on Monday about Harvey Weinstein R-ing her back in 2005. Harvey Weinstein, who is now 70 years old, is charged with 11 counts of R, forcible oral, S, and S battery for reported incidents that occurred in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills between 2004 and 2013. The governor's wife, Cybele Newsom, cried while recounting being R'd by the producer at a Beverly Hills hotel during that time period. Prosecutors asked Cybele to describe Weinstein's physique, to which she said lots of bruises, markings, yellow and green, lots of stretch marks on his belly, very not physically fit at all, looked uncircumcised, and strange though, kind of fish-like, his appendage. Something was distorted in his testicles, lots of skin down there. Governor Newsom was in a room down the hall during his wife's testimony after he was denied entry to the courtroom. His wife is the 7th woman to testify against Harvey Weinstein as the trial goes into its 4th week. Cybele said that she was 31 when she met Weinstein at the Toronto International Film Festival a few weeks before the reported assault. She also testified that she had not met her husband yet, and that he invited Cybele to his suite at the Beverly Hills Hotel under the guise of talking to her about her career aspirations. Cybele recalled there being a bottle of champagne in a bucket in the room, but she decided to stay, despite feeling that Weinstein perceived the meeting as a date. She went on to recount being R'd by Weinstein and being forced to give him pleasure, and she just wanted to get the F out of there. You don't say no to Harvey Weinstein, she testified, because he could make or ruin your career. Weinstein is currently serving a 23-year sentence in New York for R and assault, and he has denied any sexual misconduct and pled not guilty to all charges in the case in California. Missing woman in Georgia disappeared after leaving home for work. They're searching for the woman she resides in Clayton County. She left for work Friday, never returned home. Feng Tu Lai, 45 years old, left for work Friday morning at about 9:15 a.m. and would normally return by 8 p.m., her family said, but she never arrived back home. Feng stands 5'3", weighs 140 pounds about. She was last seen wearing blue jeans and a brown shirt. Although the photo showed Feng with black hair, police say she now has blonde hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is urged to contact the Clayton County Police Department at 770-477-3550. You think they would put a current photo with her hair color, right? It's kind of... this now. Okay, there's some outrage over Jeopardy. Some fans of the game show Jeopardy were not happy Sunday night when one of the clues used the name of Gabby Petito's admitted killer, Brian Laundrie. Petito was found deceased in Wyoming in September 2021 after a desperate search for her when Brian Laundrie, her boyfriend, returned from their cross-country trip in his van back to his Florida house alone. He was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound a month later in the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, along with a notebook confession to Petito's murder. And it was the discovery of Brian Laundrie's body that found its way into a Celebrity Jeopardy answer in a category in which all the questions contain the letter A for actors John Michael Higgins, Will Wheaton, and Joel Kim Booster. In 2021, fugitive Brian Laundrie ended his days in Florida's Myakkahatchee Creek area, home to these long and toothy critters. Correct answer, of course, was what are alligators? And fans of the long-running show were quick to point out that any number of clues could have elicited that response. So there are people tweeting, not Celebrity Jeopardy using Brian Laundrie as a clue for alligators. That's so distasteful and wrong. They could have used something else for a clue. Yikes. What the F was the clue referencing Brian Laundrie to get to the response of an alligator? So unnecessary, morbid. Could have said anything related to Florida and gotten there. Celebrity Jeopardy. Celebrity Jeopardy had lost it with this Brian Laundrie question, somebody said, and so that was going on about Celebrity Jeopardy. Did I just hear something? Hold on a minute. Did I just hear something? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Jay Leno, I just heard something. Jay Leno was sprayed with gas. Did you guys hear this? Just heard this on the news. I didn't hear this. I just heard it just now. They say that he was sprayed with gas when steam car...
He's got a great swing.
Seeing the world in a new light
So focused.
starts with the right up.
Be quiet. A steam car in his Burbank garage, which then ignited... He was sprayed with gas from a steam car in his Burbank garage, which then ignited and burned portions of his face. Wow. The Burbank Fire Department Battalion Chief David Burke released an incident report which revealed officials responded to an emergency medical call on Saturday, November 12th at 12:28 p.m. After arriving on scene, the Burbank Fire Department resources assessed and treated one adult male patient. The patient was transported to the local emergency department. He's 72. Wow, he's 72. The 72-year-old television icon is currently in stable condition and receiving treatment at the Grossman Burn Center for his injuries to his face and hands from the gasoline accident in his garage. Amy Bennett, the director of strategic communications at the West Hills Hospital and Medical Center, said in a statement. She added that he's in good humor and is touched by all the inquiries into his condition and well wishes. He wants to let everyone know that he's doing well and he's in the best burn center in the United States. He said in a statement on Monday, I've got some serious burns from a gasoline fire. I'm okay. I just need a week or two to get back on my feet. George Swift, a mechanic at Leno's garage, said that he's going to have a recovery. He's going to have a recovery, but he's going to be fine. Swift described the incident as Leno was working on a steam car when he got sprayed with some gas and it ignited. He called me and he told me that there was a fire and the department's coming. He never lost consciousness. The mechanic who has worked with Leno for 15 years said Leno is in a burn center and he's getting the best care. He had been scheduled to perform at a conference in Las Vegas on Sunday but bowed out due to serious medical emergency. Let's see. So, okay, so I'll go back to... What else do we have here? Tell me. So I think let me see if we've covered it all. I'm going to go back to the chat, see if you guys have any going on, but I don't want to keep this too long, and maybe if we can do it, I don't know if we'll do it an hour every night. I don't know. We'll see. We're trying to see what works, especially I think while we're doing Peterson, it's too much to do Peterson and like all the headlines at the one time or even back to back. So I think if we do anything back to back, it would be one of the games or something. But tonight we are going to do the read through again. We're going to be reading through Dennis Rocha at least, and possibly the witness after that, depending on how long they take. So just try to come see us if you'd appreciate. Yeah, we have crafting panels coming up. That one is already up. I've got to throw the candle one up, but it's up on the community tab. If you want to look at the candle kits, there's a link there in the post. Yeah, and just please hit the likes and share this out for us, because somehow our videos that people are not getting notifications and they're not hearing about us being live until afterwards. So I'm trying to get them to be announced earlier, but I'm trying to do that as much as I can. I guess. I watched impact statements at Friday. Yes, they were. Hi, Bergstrom. It's good to see you. Yes, they were, right? Really, really bad. So let's see. Let us know. What's going on, and if what was I going to say? Yeah, maybe after, depending on how long Peterson is, we may play a game or something after that. I don't know. We haven't played a game in a while, so maybe after that. And he kept rolling his eyes. It was disgusting. Yeah, it was heavy. Bergstrom, it was a heavy thing.
Mom, can we make ours first?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's see who's here. Hi, Janae, who's on the panel that's alive. Alive, up. Oh my God. I don't mean alive. I mean up. Janae, are you there?
Hey, you're gonna eat pizza too, right? You're gonna eat
Janae, Margot, Christy, Lark, Deborah.
I'm still kicking.
Okay. So yeah, that's nuts. I didn't know about Jay Leno either. Didn't hear anything about that. Did you know anything about Jay Leno?
No, I hadn't heard about it.
Oh. The last mom let him have it. Oh, really? I'll have to go back and watch that. Really? The last mom let him have it? Has anybody seen anything on Law and Crime that you now have to pay or something? It's like pay to view. I don't remember that before. Okay, Sherry, we'll see you tonight. Hopefully you'll see us tonight. Just wondering if that, because some people couldn't see it. Hi, Heart Made Wise. How are you? You didn't know about Jay Leno Flow on the Go? Gonna take my vitamin C. Hi, Linda. Peterson is 10:45, Kevin.
Oh my gosh, Caroline, I'm here. I somehow got off on a bunch of different extra things on Zoom, and then I couldn't get back to the main meeting.
Oh. That's good. Now you're back. She deviated from prepared statement and ripped into him. Really? I'll have to go back and watch.
Oh, wow.
She was the last one on today? Did they finish it all today? Because he was going to have... Did he have any people speaking on his behalf? I don't know. Been having... I know, Kevin... 10:45 Eastern Standard Time. I've never had heartburn in my life, and I'm having what they're telling me is heartburn, and it's making me nuts. It's like a stabbing pain in the center of my chest. Horrible. You were thinking your time, yeah. His people will be on tomorrow at 12. I didn't think they would be able to get to the mall. And then she's going to still take a day after that. I think so, right?
Kevin's calling himself to the HR office now.
Okay, good. Tomorrow we have an auction too. I was supposed to go out and pick some stuff up, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Number one, because of the weather. Number two, because of other things. So... I don't know, I guess I'll just deal with what I have here. I've been crashing out since I got my sleep chair. Your sleep chair? What is a sleep chair? My sleep chair. I'm going to have to look that up. What is a sleep chair? Sleep chair. Let me see. Sleep chair. The premium lift and sleep chair? What is a sleep chair? It's a recliner, like?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because you can't turn over on your side, can you?
It can go almost as flat as a bed if you needed to.
And what's the point of it?
Well, when I have a lot of pain, I get in my sleep chair because I can adjust it to certain, you can kind of hit a sweet spot.
Oh, okay.
Is it like a recliner?
Yeah, it's also a lift chair.
Oh, yes.
But
Mhm.
do they have a massager?
You can get them with a massager. Mine doesn't have one.
See, it's funny. I don't usually, I could fall asleep in my massage chair, but if I sleep in there, I don't know, I just feel like it's in my head, like I feel like I can't get the rest that I can get in my bed. I don't know. I mean, it's just probably something with me, because if I can fall asleep in there, why am I not getting rest? I don't know. Chair you sleep in. Sleep chair. Tomorrow is going to be the sentencing flow? Okay. And his mother is going to speak, Captain Lee? Okay. All right, well, we'll definitely watch. Recliner light chair. Mine's also a lift chair. It's heated because I had bad hip pain and I was having... Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you later. And God bless. Prayers for all. We'll see you hopefully later tonight. You come in. Bye, guys. Thank you, Casey.
Bye.